for the communities where we choose to focus our efforts on. And it is not enough to help those communities to produce the food needed to feed the population, but it is also necessary for that food to be marketed, to have access to markets with solid and resilient production and distribution chains. This is the only way we can enable a community to prosper with the resources it possesses, generating employment and stable, lasting growth. This is Italy's point of view, and it is the red line that links the initiatives and projects of the Mattei Plan for Africa. Starting, of course, with the agri-food sector, an area in which Italy can boast unique know-how that combines tradition and innovation. We have made this heritage available for our African partners, and together with them, we build public-private partnerships that attract investments and it results. We are successfully testing this in Algeria, where we are working to reclaim over 36,000 hectares of desert to produce up to 45,000 tons of additional cereals and legumes per year, creating 6,000 jobs and generating benefits for over 600,000 people. This endeavor is also underway in Senegal, Ghana, and Congo, and aims to soon involve Cote d'Ivoire and President Ruto Kenya. Our blueprint is also working in Tunisia, where we are strengthening capacities and skills for the use of water, a resource around which there will be an increasing geopolitical and sovereignty challenge. But we have chosen to apply this vision to other projects as well, such as the one developed together with the European Gateway, which combines European financial resources and private capital to support the development of coffee production chains in various African nations. And then there is, of course, the centrality of the technical and scientific training, which is crucial to make a difference and must be integrated into a supply chain approach from seed to production to product distribution. In this context, just a few days ago, we signed an agreement for the National Agricultural Training Center in Algeria, which will serve as a reference point for the Sahel and the whole of Africa. Our goal, we have stated this on many occasions, is not to create dependency, but to support self-reliance. This goal also involves what we usually refer to as food sovereignty, the right to shape its own production model based on their identity. Food sovereignty means not going along with the standardization of food production, which lowers quality and concentrates wealth, but instead investing in promoting local, high-quality products. Small and medium-sized farmers and their families are the backbone of agricultural and environmental systems. They are guardians of the land and must be given the means to live with dignity and with a fair recognition of their work. And this is why Italy, with its network of institutions, businesses, and protection consortia, is ready to do its part to promote the export of African geographical indication to European and global markets by building promotion and distribution network. So, dear Deputy Secretary Mohammed, dear Prime Minister Abiy, colleagues, Cicero, one of the most important philosophers of ancient Rome, said that of all the arts from which some profits is gained, none is better than agriculture, none more profitable, none sweeter, none more worthy of a man and of a free man. Thousands of years later, this teaching is still valid and shows us the way forward. Food is a right, a cultural expression, the pillar of a nation's identity and sovereignty. but it is also the first step towards being truly free, independent, and masters of our own destiny. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency Giorgia Meloni, for reflecting on Italy's ambition and commitment. Excellencies, while he cannot be with us today in person, please direct your attention to the screen for a video message from His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellencies, dear friends, I thank the government and people of Ethiopia and the Italian government for co-hosting this important gathering. I regret that circumstances have kept me from joining you in person. 4 years ago, the world came together for the first UN Food System Summit, anchored in the understanding that food systems are about more than food. They're about health, nutrition, climate, decent work, justice, and the right to a better future. Since then, we have seen progress. 2/3 of countries have integrated food systems transformation into national development plans. Over 100 have aligned food strategies with climate and biodiversity goals. 55 countries are advancing efforts with national conveners and strong engagement from businesses, civil society, indigenous peoples, youth, and farmers. The UN system, including through the UN Food Systems Coordination Hub, is their partner every step of the way. Last year's Pact for the Future reaffirmed our shared commitment to food systems that are inclusive, sustainable, equitable, resilient, and rooted in human rights. But progress is not fast or fair enough. Hunger is rising, trade shocks are pushing food prices out of reach. 1/3 of the world's people cannot afford a healthy diet, while 1/3 of the world's food is lost or wasted. The hidden costs of our food systems on health, nature, and human suffering exceed $10 trillion a year. That's more than 3 times the GDP of the African continent. This is not just a crisis of scarcity, it's equity and climate. Nearly 40% of the global workforce is linked to food systems, yet many remain trapped in poverty. Climate change is disrupting harvests, supply chains, and humanitarian response. Conflicts continues to drive hunger from Gaza to Sudan and beyond. Hunger feeds further instability and undermines peace. We must never accept hunger as a weapon of war. Dear friends, we know what works. Every dollar invested in nutrition can return up to 3. Sustainable food systems can advance all 17 sustainable development goals, and transformation is underway. Governments are leading the way, integrating food systems into climate strategies, biodiversity frameworks, and national budgets. They're empowering women and youth, scaling up nutritious school meals, and investing in agroecology. Look no further than Ethiopia. Investments, action, and climate-aligned food policy are reducing import dependence and creating jobs. But governments cannot do it alone. The private sector must play a vital role, from innovation and logistics to finance and investments. We need responsible business practices aligned with the public good. We need bold leadership and enforceable guidelines for corporate accountability. We must build on new partnerships like the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty and scale up action across sectors. Looking ahead, I see 3 urgent priorities. Break down silos. Food systems are everyone's business. We need integrated policies and a global framework that connects agriculture to people, their health, climate, trade, and finance. We must also harness new technologies, including artificial intelligence, to boost production, reduce waste, and create decent jobs across the value chain. Second, address poverty. We must govern food systems fairly, tackle inequality, and deliver on the right to food for all. That means elevating the voices of women, youth, farmers, indigenous peoples, and local actors. Third, unlock and connect finance at scale. Transformation requires investments. We need debt relief, greater access to concessional finance, and reform of the global financial system to give developing countries representation that reflects the realities of today's global economy. We need climate action, including at COP30, to close the other combine climate funding with food systems and accelerate the just transition. And above all, we need peace, so that investments can take root and farmers can look to the future with confidence. Excellencies, dear friends, the future of food is the future of humanity. Let us work together to build food systems that nourish every person and grow prosperity from the ground up. Thank you.
Thank you to His Excellency, Secretary General Guterres. Your Excellencies, we now proceed with high-level statements from heads of states, governments, and the African Union. It is an honor to welcome His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya.
Your Excellency Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister of Italy, Your Excellency Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. 4 years ago, the United Nations convened the inaugural Food Systems Summit to galvanize global transformation in the way we produce, process, distribute, and consume food. The summit aimed bold and transformative actions to reshape global food value chains in support of the Sustainable Development Goals. 2 years later, at our first global stocktake, we renewed our commitment to maintain this momentum. We take stock once more. The picture is mixed. Undeniably, we have made meaningful and significant progress in providing the world with more sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, contributing to reductions in poverty and hunger. The global food system now contributes between 10% and 12% of global GDP, translating to about $8 trillion or $10 trillion annually. This progress has improved livelihoods, created new opportunities, and raised living standards for millions worldwide. However, this encouraging trajectory is not universal. Starvation, malnutrition, and undernutrition remain a harsh daily reality for far too many. At the same time, health challenges such as obesity and diet-related diseases are increasing at an alarming rate, causing illness and hampering socioeconomic development. Environmental pressures, including climate change, water and air pollution, biodiversity loss, and soil degradation are causing productivity losses nearly equivalent to 12% of global GDP. Data further reveals that current food systems account for over a third of greenhouse gas emissions, 80% of biodiversity loss, and significant pollution globally. These issues are worsened by widespread poverty and rapid demographic shifts, conflicts, high costs of nutritious diets, and weak governance structures. Food markets, while a source of hope, are increasingly volatile. Despite positive production forecasts, erratic weather, trade tensions, and supply chain disruptions are driving up food prices. The Food Agricultural Organization's 2024 State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World SOFI report affirms these concerns. It points out that to 2030, we are not on track to meet our hunger and nutrition targets. Yet, the report also offers hope that the world can still reverse these trends, but only if we urgently reorient the architecture of global food systems. Excellencies, we must act on this hope. It is still possible to reorganize global food systems to accelerate progress towards the SDGs and broader sustainability goals. This requires coordinated focus on 6 key priority areas. First, we must integrate food system strategies into national policies. A unified value chain approach can address interconnected challenges from food and nutrition insecurity to public health and environmental degradation, including climate change. Second, we must strengthen the governance of food systems. Fragmented global responses are counterproductive, and we need stronger policy coherence, greater transparency and accountability, including evidence-based decision-making and capacity building at all levels. Third, research, technology, and innovation hold immense promise for transformation. We must support academic and research institutions with the infrastructure they require, while significantly scaling up investment in digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and climate-smart agriculture. Fourth, transformation must be inclusive. Smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, have the potential to feed far more people than they are doing now. They need our support. Indigenous people and local communities are custodians of valuable tradition, and their full participation must be integrated into decision-making responses. Fifth, the Green Climate Fund estimates that global private sector manages over $210 trillion in climate investments and private equity. We must strengthen our engagement with this sector to unlock the capital necessary for the transformation of food systems. And finally, and of critical importance, we must improve access to finance. Tailored financial products are essential for smallholder farmers, startups, and agripreneurs. We must also promote digital financial solutions such as M-Pesa, which in my country enables every citizen to access financial services instantly, and public-private partnerships are indispensable. We must deepen collaboration with financial institutions, both public and private, to leverage their power and catalyze investment, scale up solutions, and deliver meaningful change. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have a solemn obligation to ensure adequate, healthy, and sustainable food for all, to promote shared prosperity, and to safeguard a resilient planet. Let us take ambitious, concrete, scalable, and timely actions to align food systems with our commitment to achieving zero hunger by 2030. I reaffirm my steadfast commitment and that of the government of Kenya to work with all stakeholders in realizing this calling. I thank you.
We thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. it is our privilege to welcome His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, President of the Federal Republic of Somalia.
Your Excellency, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic, Your Excellency Giorgia Meloni, the President of Council of Ministers of the Republic of Italy, Her Excellency Mrs. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Governments, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to address this distinguished summit at a time the world stands at a crossroads, facing convergent crises and unprecedented demands on our food systems. This gathering is not only timely, but essential. We are summoned here not merely to reflect, but to renew our shared commitment to building sustainable, resilient, and inclusive food systems for all. As we grapple with overlapping global crises, armed conflicts, climate shocks, food, widening economic disparities, the urgency of transforming how we produce, distribute, and consume food has never been more pressing than today. For the Federal Republic of Somalia, agriculture is more than a sector. It is the lifeblood of our society, our culture, our survival. It contributes over 70% to our GDP, employs nearly 80% of our population, and generates 85% of our export earning. Despite enduring over 3 decades of socio-economic upheaval, environmental shocks, Somalia's farmers, pastoralists, and fisher communities have demonstrated extraordinary resilience and fortitude in feeding the nation. Somalia today is not only a major pillar. In Somalia, livestock is not only a major pillar of our agricultural economy, but also a critical driver of food security, demonstrating the strong link between crop production, animal husbandry, and the resilience of our rural livelihoods. Today, Somalia is charting a new course through the National Transformation Plan. We have identified agriculture as the engine of inclusive economic growth, social cohesion, national recovery. The National Transformation Plan is a yet pragmatic roadmap that prioritizes private sector-led growth, public-private partnership, and comprehensive value chain reform. Under our productive sector ministry, are enacting policies and programs that promote climate resilience, strengthening rural livelihoods, and connect our producers to both domestic and export markets. Our commitment to ending poverty and hunger is unwavering. In a country where nearly half of the population lives in rural areas and over 4 million people face acute food insecurity, transforming agriculture is not a choice, but it is a moral obligation and a national necessity. Our newly launched agricultural transformation strategy outlines concrete priorities for governance, productivity, infrastructure, agribusiness, and institutional capacity building. We believe agriculture must not only feed our people, it must create jobs, foster peace, and prepare Somalia for the future. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Our journey is anchored in global solidarity and regional integration. Somalia was an early endorser of COP28 Declaration on Sustainable Agriculture, Resilient Food Systems, and Climate Action. We've revised our nationally determined contribution to reflect climate-smart agriculture priorities and have strengthened our water resources management and early warning systems. Somalia remains committed to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, ensuring no one is left behind. We are in the process of actively implementing flagship policies such as the Environmental Management Bill, the Great Green Wall Initiative, and the Green Somalia Campaign, which advances ecosystem restoration and landscape resilience. These global frameworks are being localized and operationalized through national task forces dedicated to climate adaptation, sustainable food systems, and rural development all over Somalia. At the regional level, Somalia is enforcing its commitment under the Kampala Declaration of CAADB and the African Climate Summit outcomes. Our accession to the East African Community and our observer status at COMESA and CFTA reflected Somalia's clear intent to harmonize agricultural policies, expand intra-African trade, and become an active actor in regional food systems. Institutionally, Somalia is reclaiming its place in the global community with the successful completion of the HEBIC debt relief process. We have regained fiscal space and international credibility to attract long-term investment. My administration remains firmly committed to rebuilding state institutions, decentralizing services, and entrenching inclusive governance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, while our progress is real, our challenges remain formidable. Poverty is still widespread. Food insecurity persists. Climate shocks continue to test our resilience. Like many nations emerging from fragility, Somalia cannot walk, but we therefore call for strengthened international solidarity and equitable access to climate financing, innovation, and technical assistance. Somalia stands ready to partner with the development banks, UN agencies, private investors, and regional institutions to accelerate transformative action in food systems. In particular, we welcome collaboration around digital agriculture, agro-logistics, climate adaptation, and cross-border trade corridors that will unlock new pathways for our farmers and agribusiness. Food systems transformation is not a theoretical ambition. It is a question of justice, of survival, and sovereignty. For Somalia, food security is peace. Cultural transformation nationwide, every investment in rural livelihoods is an investment in lasting peace, inclusive growth, and national dignity. Let us seize this momentum. Let us seize this moment to move from promises to tangible progress. Somalia is standing to contribute, to lead, and to grow together with its region, continent, and the global large. I thank you.